Hey guys, welcome back to LS Vintage Design. How's everyone doing? I hope you are having an amazing day. Today I have a great video for you. We're going to talk about a Christmas table setting, mixing vintage, classic, family heirloom items with modern, very cool, very today to create a beautiful table that anybody can have. Our next video will be about how to use vintage jewelry to decorate for the holidays. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that little bell just so you'll know when our videos post. Now we're going to jump in, but at the end of this, if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And leave me a comment down below. What family heirlooms do you have that you use during the holidays? I'd love to know. Okay, now to our video. Okay guys, here we have the classic red and green tablecloths. You might have a little white in there too if you're going truly classic. But red and green is very popular this year, not because it's Christmas, which blows my mind, but because Ralph Lauren said they invented the red and green Christmas. And they just took something that we've all been doing for years in, I guess, the poorer sections of the economy and decorating for Christmas. They stole our idea, said it was theirs, and now the rich folks are decorating with red and green. Imagine that. But anyway, so when you are setting your table, I'm going to show you how you can mix some beautiful vintage pieces with modern to create outstanding looks. Now, first we're going to get the big item out of the way. This is a beautiful footed milk glass serving bowl. It could be a fruit bowl. You could serve your holiday vegetables, rolls, whatever you want to, but look at that detailing. And not only could this beautiful bowl be used for Christmas, but also Easter, 4th of July, and it can be used anytime you want. Don't just save these beautiful items for special occasions. Use them all the time. They're gorgeous. They're very sturdy. They've lasted this long. Believe me, they can last to being used every day in a modern world. And they're so much better than things you buy now. But look how stunning that looks on a table surrounded by place settings. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now, breakfast, since we're talking about rolls, cinnamon rolls, biscuits, bagels, picture those in your bowl, and then picture your orange juice, your mimosas, whatever you like to drink on a big family Christmas morning breakfast or Christmas Eve breakfast. Fill this beautiful pitcher. Guys, this stuff is heavy. This is probably about a 4 or 5 pound pitcher. And again, it's got all the beautiful detailing that the footed bowl has. And we have a juice glass. Okay, look how beautiful. Bloody Marys, mimosas, orange juice, apple juice, or just iced tea or ice water. This is a great set and would look beautiful with your everyday dishes for a breakfast or a lunch. You could pair this cup at lunch with the beautiful wine glass that goes with it. And that could be your lunch setup. Now at night, maybe you don't want this one and you want a little bigger glass for your wine. You could have this as your water glass, this as your wine glass. Look how beautiful those two look together. I mean, those are stunning. The red and the white on your traditional tablecloths. And like I said, you could lose the pitcher, lose the footed bowl for evening. You could have your gold rimmed dishes or just a gold charger with a white plate or a gold charger with a red plate. then you could have your big red wine glass with your beautiful white milk glass, water glass. This would be a beautiful evening setup. Maybe the red and white weren't your style. Let's go to a different look. We have a beautiful Spode tea glass, and maybe you want a little wine, not a lot. We have a beautiful vintage Depression era green glass then to hold our wine. Beautiful for a lunch setup because you have your tea, you have your wine. Also beautiful for an evening setup. Maybe you have your water and your wine in here. Remember, just because the glasses are small doesn't mean you can't have seconds and thirds. And the beauty in the setup is what you're going for. You're mixing your modern Spode with your vintage Depression glass. You might have your Spode plate on a gold charger and have these two beautiful cups lining it. It's a great look, and you always do want to mix. You don't want to have modern with modern because it just, having that vintage touch adds that to your tables. It's going to have people going, that table was beautiful. What was it? What made her table more beautiful than my table? Well, your table has vintage items. They have things that have lived through time and that are still here, that have survived maybe moves and drops and everything. These vintage items have stories to tell, and that's what they add to your modern Christmas table when you're trying to go with a very traditional vintage look. They add the story. They add the history. You can also, in the evening, if you want, maybe you like the red and the green, you can bring in your big wine glass, pair it with your little wine glass, pair it with a white wine glass. Now, what would you have in all these wine glasses? Well, here's the deal. You could have your wine, some water in the white one at the back there, and have your after dinner sherry palate cleanser in your green one. That's a beautiful setup, but maybe you don't want 3 wine glasses. You could take the milk glass, water, or juice glass and have your wine, your water, and then your after dinner sherry little drink there. You have a modern and 2 vintage. You could also do the same look with the Spode tea glass. Maybe you don't drink alcohol. What you could do is set this up for dinner and have your tea, a water, and maybe just a little non-alcoholic wine, or maybe just a little bit of wine. So you can always mix and match ideas. You don't have to have Spode. I have very generic Christmas dishes. They would work beautiful. I just borrowed these and the red one. So don't be afraid to mix and match. If you are not a drinker, but you like the look of the vintage wine glasses, get non-alcoholic sparkling cider or something and have just a sip in that while everybody else has wine. But the biggest thing to take away from all of this is the vintage add stuff to your table that a lot of tables now don't have. They add history, they add a story, and you can mix and match all of these beautiful vintage glasses. You can mix and match them and create very cool, one-of-a-kind looks. But remember, too much vintage doesn't work. So throw in that modern just to balance it out. In your modern plate, a modern charger. I would definitely do, if you're doing vintage, in the mix in the glassware. Do not do a vintage in your dinnerware. It's gonna not read correctly. But modern, vintage, vintage. Again, 3 wine glasses are very unique. Do something different, but bring that vintage in, because again, that's your heart, that's your story, that's the history that's gonna make your table, your traditional table that we're all doing now, even though 99% of us have been doing it forever. That's gonna make your traditional table have heart. That's gonna bring the soul into your table. And remember, it doesn't have to be for dinner only. It can be for breakfast. It can be for lunch. It can be whatever you want it to be. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with that little bell, and we will be back on Thanksgiving with a new video talking about how you can use vintage jewelry to decorate for the holidays. Take care. I'll see you then. If you're interested in any of the vintage pieces you saw tonight, they will be up on my Etsy. Bye. Take care. Bye. Thanks. Bye, guys.